Hi, this is Mr. Pepperell, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about the pendulum, and more specifically how to calculate both the time period and the frequency of a pendulum. So for a simple pendulum, it's an example of oscillating motion, and what I mean by that is that the pendulum just moves to and fro back along the same line. So one oscillation will just be starting from its highest point, going over to its highest point on the other side, and then moving back to the start again. Okay, now the time period of the oscillation is just the time it takes to go from this highest point across to the other side and back again. So the time period of the oscillation is the time taken for it to complete one cycle of the pendulum, i.e. to go from its highest point on one side and to the other side and back again. Now to measure this time period, what we do is, because sometimes that's quite quick, you can't actually time that, what you do is you let the pendulum complete 20 oscillations or 20 cycles of its swinging basically, and you measure the time period of the pendulum to complete these 20 cycles, and then just divide this time by 20. So for example, if we had we timed the pendulum for 20 cycles, it took 42 seconds to complete these 20 swings. I just do 42 seconds divided by 20, and that would tell me the time period of the pendulum is 2.1 seconds. So once we know the time period of a pendulum, and time period is given by a capital T, we can also calculate the frequency of a pendulum using this calculation. So capital T for time period is equal to 1 divided by the frequency. And remember, frequency, as before, frequency is measured in Hertz. Okay, so we can calculate the frequency of the oscillations, which is the number of oscillations per second, with this equation and a simple rearrangement of it. Okay, so we can calculate either the time period if we know the frequency, or the frequency if we know the time period. It's just a matter of rearranging the equation for the thing you actually want. So let's apply that. So my question is then, what is the frequency of a pendulum that completes 20 oscillations in 5 seconds? Well, the first thing I need to do is calculate the time period of the pendulum, shown by capital T in seconds. So what's that going to be? Well, the time it took for those 20 oscillations was 5 seconds, so it's just 5 divided by 20 tells me the time period, capital T, is 0.25 seconds. Then the next job is to calculate the frequency of the pendulum in Hertz. Well, all I do for this is I do 1 divided by the time period, so 1 divided by 0.25 to tell me that the frequency of my pendulum was 4 Hertz. So that is pendulums and how to calculate the time period and the frequency of those. Any problems, just tweet me at Mr_Pepperell and I'll get back to you ASAP. Thanks for stopping by.